I think I reap what he sows. I think I need to sew me up, having been left open in places I didn't mean, which leaves me with an open wound that bleeds and a scent that attracts with nowhere to run, too busy trying to work with him to hide. What if he found us closed, all stitched up, healed, never available, try as he might, where the sutures and scars hold against his attempts? After a while, would he give up? After a while, could we finally move on from this breeding life? I don't need that hole to be whole. We don't need that entrance or exit. But he needs me left open like some damn landing strip for takeoffs and landings where he runs air traffic control, with all their voices over intercom announcing the comings and goings of this pirated port. I wish instead he would say what he means. No more, "We are protecting the innocent." After all, what am I? Just tell me you can't live without access. Just say you love that warm, enveloping moment of entrance, that moment of take over and over again. Come instead over to this other world where I don't have to be location, a place where the earth isn't a woman, where man grants rights to steal from her inner core for jobs. A place where I am not punished for a hole in my skin, where he doesn't need a place to deposit his fears and hopes for the future. Come here, boy. Stop resting in me. Come around to seeing me as intact. It is exhausting to sue, litigating a false story where we talk about abstracts and inadvertence, instead of this whole that occupies his thoughts, desires. Across that aisle I would declare, "Your Honor, he cannot leave my whole alone." I should not have to notify him every time something comes in or out of my body. He will object, proclaiming that in fact my whole is the location of humanity and he is the designated, self-appointed existential umpire who watches, guards, collects, devours, and disfigures. He will stress, pounding that fist on the table as he likes to do, that life would cease if he failed. If he failed. If he failed. I would watch him come up against his greatest fear, forced to admit all of this only works if I am his. He would look at me wondering why I'm forcing him to say it, but would then proclaim, "Your Honor, we cannot let her alone. We need that hole. What about the future of the human race who need to slide through that passageway? The state requires future bodies, which means we need the body with the hole to enslave. It is really only accidental that it affects the girl part of that holy body." I will raise no objections forcing him to say the rest, where his motives and intent can be discovered. Not this altruism he claims. Too many distracting legal words requires a stripped-down case where all the parties remove the facade. If we could all approach the bench naked, then maybe we could reveal that I didn't mean to have a hole in my skin, that he didn't mean to have a thing to pierce that hole, that we all arrive unattached, with no guarantees. Instead, I must assert, no girl has ever agreed to propagate the human race. Any such expectation is slavery or indentured servitude, and we have laws passed by men against that. "Objection, Your Honor," he will shout. "Those laws were never meant to free women's bodies. It would be absurd to apply them in this situation." Absurd indeed. Imagine if men found themselves born into a world where the state made them eject their genetic code under supervision to secure the future of the human race. Would it matter if some men were willing or wanting to comply? Would the state force the unwilling while we watched? Strictly to ensure the sanctity of life, of course. Because my life has never felt sanctified. I feel more like a live donor with praise for my contributions, which means I must have been born for parts. Your Honor, was I born for this whole? 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 Was I born for this whole?